Okay, I have seen some horrendous takes in regards to Reinhardt's scaling, with one of them being that for some reason they think that he's some kind of divine protection merchant, which is ridiculous considering the feats that he's accomplished. So let's take a few feats of Reinhardt and actually scale him to some degree. I'm not that much of a power scaler, so I'm not going to scale too much, but let's actually look at things, okay? So for example, okay, let's compare him to someone like Cecil's Segment. Cecil's Segment fought in a war against Lugunica prior to the events of the novel. So I don't actually recall where this happened. It could have been an EX novel or a side story. But basically, Cecilus has the highest kill count in all of ReZero, and he low diffed Julius. He literally low diffed Julius, who is quite literally the third strongest knight in the entirety of the Lagunican royal army, being third because of Marcos being stronger than him and Reinhardt, obviously. Cecilus low diffed him, and then Reinhardt came in and one shot Cecilus. It was that easy for him. To put Cecilus into perspective, Cecilus is literally the fastest character in ReZero. He can literally dodge every single grain of sand in a sandstorm casually, and all of the grains of sand are moving at the speed of light. He is a transcendent being, as stated in the light novel. And honestly, I don't even comprehend how you can assume that Reinhardt is a divine protection merchant at that stage when he's defeating characters like this. I think it's a misconception with the idea that most divine protections buff your physical stats. They don't. Some of them do, okay? I'm not going to deny that. Reinhardt has divine protections that buff his physical stats, including one that buffs his physical stats during daytime and nighttime, and also unarmed combat. However, the problem with this entire thing is that usually Reinhardt isn't even using the divine protections, and usually he doesn't even need them. These are only really there to show how overpowered he is, and aren't actually indicative of his feats in the novel. He's doing this shit without really depending on these divine protections. And seriously, if you don't believe me, then take into his feats from Wrathif, where he fights Cecil's Segment again. But this Cecilus has had 3 years to train to fight Reinhardt, okay? Which means he's got to be faster, stronger, everything in between. Keep in mind that Cecilus can cut the essence of all things via his Fiend Sword, the red one, okay? And he can bring forth his dreams into reality via his Dream Sword. He's crazy, okay, how powerful he is. This guy has caught an Al Shario in Arc 8, okay? And he was already the strongest divine general just in kid form, let alone adult Cecilus. And Wrathif Cecilus is way stronger, okay? Reinhardt fought him in an enclosed space where divine protections are suppressed. And guess what? Cecilus injured him, but Reinhardt still beat the ever living brakes off of this guy. And also, he literally broke his swords and forced Cecilus to run away. Then Reinhardt got hit by Emilia. He got backstabbed with an ice sword. He was heavily injured, and yet the author stated that he still managed to kill Beast of the End Puck, who can freeze the entire world of ReZero, putting him, I would say at the very least, massively continental in terms of destructive output. And then he went on to kill Halibal, the strongest ninja in ReZero, and also one of the four great strongest in ReZero. Halibal has curse abilities, which can one-shot their opponents. The only reason it doesn't work on Reinhardt is because he has his DPs. Okay? In this Wrathif version, Reinhardt doesn't have his DPs. If he gets hit, he dies, right? And the Phoenix thing is not going to save him in this regard. And he still managed to kill Halibal. Remember, Halibal can replicate himself without splitting his power. Basically, when you use clones in ReZero, you're splitting your entire power between two different copies. However, Halibel is the one exception to this. He states that he's not splitting his power, he's doubling his power. Because it's two of him with the same stats as his original self. So he has so many opportunities to hit Reinhardt, yet he couldn't do it. Reinhardt killed him. Do not put disrespect on this man's name. Reinhardt is the GOAT, and he is a literal cheat character.